Oh man, yeah, we ready to rock and roll. This is you already know who it is. This is Val,
And it's Cyrus. What's going on? We back after another L. Back to back L week, baby.
in the zone with V and Zito. We here, man. Another episode, man. Another week. Week 5. Wasn't as kind to us as we wanted it to be, but as always, we always gonna be here to try to recap and round up some things. I mean, you see me right now. It doesn't mean I gave up on the Bills, but it is Pink October. So shout out to those people who have survived breast cancer, those who have dealt with tragedies surrounding breast cancer, because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month for those who don't know. So wear your pink this month. Wear it every month if you want to, but I thought I'd go ahead and represent for those out there. But Pink October,
Even down to the
Bills,
pink do rag.
yeah. Shout out
I'm
to
with
Camera. I mean, shout out to Cameron. Those who don't know Cameron, look him up. Just put
it.
Cameron and Pink in Google and see what pops up. Um, but yeah, man, it's not always the fun part of being a fan of this sport, being a Bills fan. Is after a loss, having to digest that and move forward. But I think we said it last week. We knew it'd be a close game. We knew with the injuries that we were dealing with, we knew it was going to be a battle. We knew that there might be some situations that our guy Josh Allen was going to have to put on the cape. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But I tell you one thing, if I put my faith in one guy to get himself out of if you want to call it a slump or just figure it out,
It's Mac Hollins. Let me
it's
stop.
not nah, it's Mitchell Trubisky. Nah, it's Josh Allen though.
Money Mac.
Yeah, but tough weekend. I'll go with views from the couch first because I know you was here in Buffalo watching
Nah,
it.
bro. Spark it up. I need to know what the energy was like in that building.
All right, I'll try to keep it within 5 minutes. But of course, as I told y'all last week, we traveled out there. Me and my in-laws, my wife, and the gang, we went out and really really enjoyed Houston atmosphere. Got to experience the inner city life, the stadium life. A couple off moments. Some weird people out there, but I told myself I was gonna touch on that, but but like all in all, man, Bills Mafia represented. A lot of our fans was out there. Met up with some other family out there, some other friends out there. Shout out to obviously my boy C Hill who lived a couple hours away, made the trip out there. But now it was good energy, man. Good vibes, man. Like I say, nobody travels like Bills Mafia. There seemed to be a trip where some of our people, like I said, it's funny how I say with Houston is like I saw somebody put a stat up like for let's call it the African Americans here in Buffalo, like they like it's if you take Buffalo, the inner city of Buffalo and the inner city of Atlanta, you put it in a bottle and you throw it in the air, you get Houston. Because it's a mixture of that down there. It's a lot of culture, a lot of good food, good vibes out there. But now the people came out though, man. You know what I mean? Black, white, purple, yellow, green. It was a festive atmosphere the last 24 hours there because you could start seeing more and more people pile in from Western New York. And as far as the game goes, we was where we was at. Section was about 60% Buffalo fans, which is always nice. And didn't start the way we wanted it to start. First half was looking very spooky, to say the least. But if you know me, and if you know me well, I'm always going to try to say, you know what, boom, let's turn it up. Second half, let's get it going. So my anticipation was that there was going to be a bounce back period. There was going to be a fight, and there was a fight in that second half. So I give credit where it's due. Started with the defensive side of things, getting a couple key stops, but James Cook had himself a hell of a game. Finally getting the ball into the hands of Keon Coleman, or I should say, connecting with Keon Coleman was good to see. Had the energy and the vibes immaculate after that play. And then from there, like I said, it was just, you guys saw it from home. It was a battle in that fourth quarter. Not many points were scored, but like it's a lot of back and forth, some more defensive plays. Execution wise wasn't the best, but Bills had a chance. And in most games, all we asked for is a chance at the end of the game. to have an opportunity, and they were inside the 15-yard line at one point underneath 4 minutes with a chance to convert and go up 4 points, and they didn't do it. You know, they tied the game, and that was cool. But we always say when you playing with a contender, when you playing with another young stud on the opposite sideline, you can't give them no type of opportunity to win the game in the last 3 minutes, last 2 minutes of the game. So, you know, it was hard walking out of there with an L. But you know, like I said, since we were so well represented, they couldn't even like be loud leaving the stadium. It was more like a quietness leaving that stadium. And that's how I knew we took over because I'm just like, I'm asking a dude next to me. I'm like, you know, it's funny when you don't hear nothing. You know what I mean? There was a couple Go Texans chants, but it was like, I'm like, man, listen, respect to y'all. I'm gonna see y'all in January. I was telling homeboy walking out, I said, man, listen, if we would have had won this game, I don't think you understand how loud this walkout would have been because we came from up high. So we walking out through all the zigzags. And I'm like, fam, the chance y'all would have heard coming out of here, y'all would have been like, if y'all don't
Boy
shut
would
up,
have been tight.
bro, it would have been so crazy. And that's all I could think about in the back of my mind was just like, damn, man, that opportunity for us to leave that stadium
What could
just
have
on
been?
that. Oh man, it would have been so crazy. But again, woulda, coulda, shoulda, a bunch of ifs. But as a team, proud of how they rallied. But it's like we got to stop putting ourselves in those holes. You know, we went through that in Baltimore and we couldn't climb back. Went through that in Arizona and was able to climb back. But next 11, 12 weeks, man, it got to be about from the jump. You know, like we did in Miami, getting it going, whether you on the road or you at home. They got to come out sparking it and not just waiting to get punched in the mouth. So um that's my quick take on it. Like I said, I wanted to keep it under 5 minutes because I could talk on and on about the road experience. But proud of how they fought back. But of course, there's more to discuss with that game. But you know, we can't dwell on too much on the past. But you know, what you got for me from the sofa, from the love seat, from the sectional, man? What
Yeah,
was your
it's these slow starts, man. It's 3 out of 5 games so far. It's just been just stale, mostly from the offense. It's just stale. There's no rhythm. It feels like there's just almost a passiveness. It's like we know we the Bills. We know we can turn it on whenever, but like yo, when your roster not studded with skill positions like you used to, you can't just flip that switch in the second half and expect that to be enough. I
right?
mean, Arizona, we was able to do it against, but we started to make a move against Baltimore too late.
Yep.
Started to make a move against Houston. We had time, but still second half, still late. But like these slow starts, it's just like, yo, it's just super stagnant. I feel like there's just no road, there's no juice to this offense yet. Like
Right.
again, everything's new. I mean, you got one returning receiver who didn't play, so you got Keon Coleman new, Curtis Samuel new, Matt Collins new, MVS new. So, yes, it's going to take some time to gel and get on the same page. So, taking that into consideration, it's understandable, but they need to get that figured out because they playing with fire,
Yeah.
doing that week in and week out.
Yeah, man.
It's like and you don't really necessarily have the horses on defense right now too. So like you really playing with fire. Like luckily, the defense was able to hold Houston in check for the most part. I mean, 5 out of the last 8 drives was no points. It's either turnover or a punt or something. But
Right.
like, y'all playing with fire,
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
But
No Von Miller, no Ed Oliver. Like,
no Taryn, no Bernard. Oh no, Bernard was back in last week. But still no Milano, no Taryn.
right.
Even Taylor Rapple's out. Like no Ed Oliver, no Austin Johnson. Like you down 5, 6 key players, and like games like this, when you're that short-handed on offense or defense, you need to be able to lean on your offense. And right now, they haven't been able to.
Right.
But even with all that, they still had a chance and was in position to win the game. But offense wasn't able to put away. Like as you know, Twitter and social media has just been in an
Ooh.
uproar
Yeah.
over how this game ended and
Right.
McDermott's decisions or lack of decisions or whatever. I'm like, yo, fuck all that. It
Right.
shouldn't have even gotten to that point.
Right.
You get a strip sack, collect the ball in the other opponent's red zone off rip,
You got to get 7.
you gotta get 7. Like,
and
and that's what's frustrating more than any coaching decision. Is like, yo, but y'all was in position and the players didn't execute enough
right,
to put the ball into the end zone.
right,
People are mad how the last 3 plays ended up with the passes. What I don't even care what plays are called in that situation. I'm mad that you got 3 plays, you can't pick up 10 yards.
right.
You can't pick up 1 yard.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it could have played out completely different, but I'm just more frustrated that the offense just could not execute enough to get a first down, could
right.
not execute enough to put the ball into the end zone when you already had Houston reeling because you just climbed back
You
17
had 'em-
straight points.
yeah, you had them bobbled up.
You had them right where you wanted them, but
Right.
just the offense is not at a point right now where you're going to just put your foot on the throat because this was a 2022 Bills team. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
That's a touchdown. That's game.
Touchdown Dawson Knox, touchdown Gabe Davis. You know what I mean? Game over.
Anybody. Yeah.
Uh,
So it's like, you know, moments like this, you have to just take a step back and realize, like, yeah, this team really is not
they,
necessarily the powerhouse that they have been, and it truly is a year in transition where, like, you're gonna have to take your lumps.
yeah,
Kind of.
and I just got to jump in real quick, and I can let you pick up. It's like that's what I think, for the most part. Look at that behind me. Like I'm seeing something behind me. I can't tell you what it is. Oh, it's my microphone. My fault, yeah. I'm like, why that shit looking crazy? But nah, that's what I kind of warned people about in the beginning of this year was like the first 6 to 8 games was going to be a true test just because we
Hmm.
knew with all the new parts and the new additions, it was going to take time to gel, especially when you got to do that and play like some very good role games. Like when you got to go,
3 in a row. Like, I think that's what I said when we first started talking a couple weeks ago. I'm like, yo, this three road games in 3 weeks.
bruh,
That's
rock.
a stretch for
And
anything.
we about to probably finish 1-2, which I know most people would have preferred to be 2-1 down this stretch. But like
Hmm.
this is why it was a major test, is because you're not only playing a great team on the road in both situations, but you are also asking your guys to gel in high
On the fly.
you're in high stress situations, and you got to expect them to know in all of these different circumstances where they need to be, right where they need to be. And this is when Josh Allen is under pressure. This is when he rolls right. Like all of the things that maybe they took for granted in the past when it was Dawson Knox in the back of the end zone, Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs finding the soft spot in the zone to pick up 6 yards or pick up 12. Those little small things that we probably took for granted for 3 to 4 years, 3 to 5 years. Now Josh is experiencing this with these guys, and it's like, and I hope he's having these conversations, and I know they are, where it's like, listen, it's one thing to do it in the classroom, do it on the practice field on a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Saturday. I need y'all come game day to be on the same page as me, because shit gonna break down.
Mm.
And I think that Josh Allen has shown in his career that for the most part, and I'm saying like 90% of the time, when things break down, he can normally make shit happen. It's just these last 2 games, he hasn't been on the same page with the receivers, with the tight ends. So now when those plays break down, you're not seeing the same type of magic, as we call it, happen in those moments, because these guys are still trying to learn. Okay, shit, when he checked down to this, oh, I need to know to have my head turned around and I need to make sure I'm going where he needs me to go, and keeping myself locked in to be available, whether it's 50 yards down the field or 12 yards down the field, because we didn't see a lot of these situations pop up, and it almost looks like the receivers are surprised that the ball is even near them. Better yet, what I mean, being free and available. I mean, we saw Keon drop one last week that was perfectly put in his hands.
We got hit in the back of the head with the
You know what I
ball.
mean? Then yeah, this week he gets hit in the back of the head. And that's not to say that he hasn't had a good stretch here, because I do believe 2 receiving touchdowns out of the last 3 games.
Yeah, but there's definitely some growing pains on his end.
Right. But it comes from, you got to keep at it though. Repetition
Hmm.
is going to have to be the answer, because as we all know, it's not like he started the season with a Pro Bowl, all pro caliber guy in that receiving room. We knew, guess what? Everyone eats. if you were a smart person, you knew that shit just wasn't going to look fly for 16 games or 17 games. There was going to be some bruises with the everyone eats mentality, because when push come to shove, teams going to see if you really about that life. They going to man coverage your ass up, send a couple blitzes and say, all right, cool. You relying on Mac Hollins as your number two? Tell him to beat you on a quick slant. Nope, we all over that. You know what I mean? We got our linebacker spying. We got this other dude coming on a corner blitz. Let's see how you do in these situations. And right now they're being tested. So my challenge is going to be to see, how do you move on from this? Because this is now back-to-back weeks that your offense has gotten off to those slow starts and have had to try to, put together, 2 second halves where, you
You got
trying
to
to
be perfect at that point.
right.
Your margin for error is gone.
Right. And now you got to deal with pressing Josh, which Josh is not at his best when he has to press. We know Josh can, like I just mentioned, can make magic happen, but Josh is more comfortable and more in his zone when he is able to play 4 quarters of football and not have to come back down 21 points. You're gonna get Harold Josh in those situations, and we know we're gonna get a couple highlight reel plays, but when Josh is under control, and this is probably most quarterbacks, but especially when we're speaking on him and just like what he's been through, it's when there's a flow. And I think between him, Joe Brady, the receivers, the tight ends, the offensive line, they just gotta figure it out now on the fly and say, hey, when we get in these situations, here's where we need to be. When the stadium is loud or when there's this and that going around, these are going to be our audibles. These are going to be our checkdowns. And it's not a matter of just practicing it. It's more so be ready game time when we doing this shit so we can execute at a high level. Because right now, they just not executing. First 2 to 3 weeks, we saw them execute because guess what? In the first 2-3 weeks of the season, it's easy. It's easy to, I mean, give a team something that they never seen on tape. They ain't know what to expect from this new look offense. So you shifting guys around, you looking like a magician out there. Now motherfuckers done caught up and say, you know what? When they do this, we're gonna go from this to that. We're gonna blitz this guy, we're gonna go man here, we're gonna go zone here. So it's gonna be interesting. I will say, to see how they adjust, because the defense that they're gonna play on Monday night ain't gonna be no scrubs. You got good, yeah, you got good linebackers over there. You got a good D line over there. We'll see if Sauce Gardner plays in the other corner, but offense, we need you.
Yeah,
Defense, I feel like they'll figure it out. This is a defensive minded head coach. I have no feeling in my gut that they're not gonna be able to figure out on defense, because they've been beat up all year and they still, to me, are a top 10 defense. I don't even know exactly where the stats have them aligned right now, but anytime you can make CJ Stroud look like a rookie in the second half, especially, then you're doing something right. And you got half of your backups out there.
I
Dorian,
mean, they scored 6 points in the second half. Like,
6 points, 59-yard field goal, and I think the other one was 50 plus. So
yeah, like again, the defense put them in position to win the game
they did.
last week. This game is strictly on the offense and strictly on coaching. I'm disappointed in the O line. It's just, I feel like just basic communication is just
Yeah,
breaking down left and right, and immediately Josh is in pure scramble mode.
right.
Like, just no time to sit back there, drop back, and I mean, there's no situation where Josh Allen should be going 9 for 30. Like,
Nah,
in what in
nah.
what
That's what you expect to see rookie year, if that.
shit, not even.
Right. But in year 7,
Should never happen.
bro, fresh off of a game where he had what, 80% pass in the one game,
Yeah, I
85.
mean, it's back to just looking frantic. There's no time. There's no trust in the pocket. Like, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And James Cook is moving the ball. James
No,
Cook right now is the offense.
right. And that's crazy to think. Like, not even crazy to think, because it's not like he no scrub, but like just thinking about the fact that he's out there getting damn near 5 yards a pop, getting you basically 100 yards from scrimmage. Every time he's out there, I think he got 5 or 6 touchdowns on the season. So like James Cook is doing his part. I think, obviously not having Khalil Shakir hurt, because you didn't have that.
Yeah,
Like,
big time. It's massive.
yeah, that ultimate safety net. Even though Kincaid should be that guy as well, but
Should be.
should be, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But Khalil Shakir has kind of been that safety net when healthy. So now, getting into the look ahead, that's what I need to see from Kincaid. Is like, dog, you probably the only player I can think of on the offense who is not banged up. I need you to show why we spent that first round pick on you.
Yeah, like at this point, I feel like the coaches aren't doing a good job of utilizing the players that they have, their skill set, and putting them in the best light. Like
Right.
it's time to let Curtis Samuel actually just be a receiver and just run some real routes.
Stop the little
Yeah, like
quick
stop.
passes behind lines.
Just let my man be a receiver. MVS don't need to see the field.
Yeah, him and Hollins, honestly.
Yeah, I mean Hollins is fine for what he is.
Yeah,
He's a,
blocking.
he's a guy who can do the dirty work. He can go in there. He can be a good blocker. He can catch some passes. But again, that's not the person I want dialed up for deep shots. It's time to tighten this rope. Listen, you need right now. You running a 11-man bench or 11-man team.
Right,
Get down to your seven, your starters and your two off the bench. It's
right,
time to let Keon, Samuel, and Shakir, and just that's gonna be your main three.
right.
Then let them snap numbers run out and figure out how to get Kincaid going. Knox is completely forgotten in this offense.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know what I
it's
really don't know what that's
you
about,
forget
but
that the man's even on the team. It's like we're just not figuring out how to use the
yeah,
talent that's there. You don't have a ton of receivers, but you got two capable tight ends. Figure out how to use them.
figure it out. Yeah, and that's where I want to land at when we look ahead because I do want to fast forward through the matchup with the Texans because I think we both know, from a fan base standpoint and from a viewer standpoint, we're all disappointed in how that ended. But
Hmm.
looking straight ahead, man. To me, what I want to see, starting on Monday is better usage of kind of what you mentioned, but like the tight ends. I mean, I watched a game, a couple of games this weekend where I saw tight ends being, utilized in positive ways down the field where it was just like, wow. So, you can throw the two tight ends if you have them. You can throw the three tight ends if you have them, and see them pick up first down, see them pick up chunk yardage, and knowing the kind of tight ends that we got. I've seen Knox come up with big plays in his career here. I've seen Kincaid even flash, but it's just like, how can we make that consistent? Especially when we need a spark. I think that Dawson Knox in the middle of the field should be utilized way more than he is because guess what? If they're going to pay a lot of attention on Kincaid, which they're saying sometimes is the case, then cool. That means Dawson Knox should be with a linebacker and should be able to give me 15 yards, 10 yards, 12 yards, be able to run over a safety and keep it going down the field for a 30-yard gain. Same thing when I'm looking at the receivers. Curtis Samuel, we got to be able to use his quickness and his speed upfield and not just horizontal.
It's
Oh,
listen, it's way too much horizontal in this offense right now.
yeah,
It's like, I feel like we're forgetting that Josh Allen is the quarterback.
right,
Utilize this extremely immensely talented quarterback that you have who doesn't need to be a take two steps and throw the ball out to the flat. Like you have a quarterback who's more talented than that. Like you kind of have to let him still be him.
right.
And
Yeah,
right now it's way too much vertical, it's way too much short. Like average yards per drop back is short. I'm just like, yo, we got to start pushing the ball down the field. Like it's time. Like I
yeah.
know y'all trying different stuff, but like yo, we doing way too much running on first down. We got to be a little bit more or a little less predictable. Like yo, let's.
It's getting to a point now where we got to really find out how good is Joe Brady.
Mhm.
And that's not to say he on no short leash because
No, but it's a filling out process for him too.
it's a filling out process, but it's almost like we now have a 5 game sample where we can say, this is what has worked, this is what hasn't worked, this is what defenses are doing. Which I think that's the maturation of being a coordinator is how do I respond to what tendencies we're seeing that is actually holding us back? So whether it's man coverage, whether it's teams sending linebacker blitzes, whether it's the quarterback spies we're seeing more so from the linebackers, how can we utilize the guys that we have to pick up chunks when we need them. And I'm not saying you got to drop back and throw the ball 50 times, and I'm not saying you got to throw 40-yard bombs to Keon Coleman on and in every quarter. But like we've alluded to, what is Curtis Samuel good for? All right, cool. Let's find ways to get him down the field versus just, hey, I'm gonna throw a quick one to the sideline, hope he makes a guy miss, and then can get the first down. That's not effective football in today's NFL, because right now the corners are playing tough. Linebackers are ready to get in and make a tackle. And now you might put your wide receiver in a tough situation if you're just trying to feed him with quick passes all game long. So looking ahead past that, man, let's get right to the Jets game, man. What matchup are you looking for most? Obviously, if those people haven't heard, I will say it live on here. This is probably gonna be a few days later than when it happened, but the head coach for the Jets is gone. So they're without a head coach right now. They have an interim head coach. I think their defensive coordinator is who's leading the pack right now. So with that being said, man, we're about to go into a team that don't officially have a head coach, who is being run by a quarterback who's 92 years old in Aaron Rodgers. Um, this is an important week for both teams. I know Jets fans will say it's definitely a must-win game for them, but like for the Buffalo Bills, if you want to win the division, if you want to get your damn coach off the hot seat, this is a game where you need it, because you can't go 0-3 on the road, because you just can't. It's not like, oh, the season gonna be over if this happened, but if you want to talk about boiling hot, I mean, atmosphere here in Buffalo, New York, let them slip up on Monday night. And this is not an opponent that you can walk over either. I don't care if it was still solid coaching or if it was Herm Edwards. This is not a team that you can just wave your hand at and say, "Oh, we Gucci," because they can come out and play some inspired football. They got some dogs on that side, offense and defense. So I expect them to come out and try to punch early. I expect them to come out kind of with the Baltimore Ravens philosophy, which is be physical.
Mhm.
Just be physical at the point of attack. So going into that game, man, what matchup are you looking at most, man?
I Jets running game has been next to nothing all season. Brees Hall's been looking hella pedestrian. Um, I got a feeling this is a game that they're really going to try to have a bounce back game for this offense in general. Um, so I expect them to try to be very physical at the point of attack
Yeah,
and really try to get Brees Hall going. So I still say this is a game that is still going to be won and lost in the trenches.
yeah,
They need to be able to keep Brees Hall in check because if they can get that running game going, that's going to allow them to play action and Aaron Rodgers to get that ball out of his hand quick. But if they can keep that running game in check and force Aaron Rodgers to continue to drop back, that's not working in their favor. I mean, his mobility is not near where it used to be. Right now, he's not even playing Aaron Rodgers football.
nah,
He's uh, been off target quite a bit, which is very uncharacteristic for him.
right,
But again, I think it's a combination of coming back from a major injury. Add that to the fact that my man is almost at AARP age, and add that to receivers really not doing much besides Garrett Wilson occasionally and Alan Lazard, I guess. But
right.
like, it's just there's no bite to their offense. So I'm really expecting them to try to have a heavy dose of Brees Hall and really test these linemen and linebackers for the Bills. So my key is you got to keep Brees Hall in check and keep that running game stagnant.
Yeah, I'll give it up to the same category. To be honest with you, I think it's in the trenches, man. The dogs inside, man, they have to be able to hold up their blocks. Number one, keep Josh clean.
Hmm.
Get on the opposite side of the ball, kind of like what you said. If you take away the run versus the Jets and make them one dimensional, and I know it sounds like old school football, but if you
It's true.
yeah, but if you can take away Brees Hall and their rookie running back, name escaping me right now. I think is his last name Allen.
Yeah, Braylon Allen.
Braylon Allen. If you're able to eliminate them guys from breaking tackles or getting outside, This could be a long day for Aaron Rodgers, because one thing that I do love that I'm seeing from the Bills D line is that basically no matter who in there, they are getting pressure. There are times when I wish they could do a little bit more, but I understand that they don't have everybody that they want to in that front seven group. But I mean, you look at what Smoot did last week, you look at what Solomon has been doing, you look at Greg Rousseau here and there. I know his sack number is probably not where he wanted him to be after getting off to a hot start, but I'm seeing flashes. I'm
Yeah,
seeing
and I'll definitely say this is the probably the first quarterback, maybe two also, who is not mobile.
flashes. Hmm.
So I mean, we played Kyler, we've played Lamar, we've played Trevor Lawrence, we've played C.J. Stroud. Like we've played four of the more mobile quarterbacks in the league. So to be able to drop back and have the complete opposite right now, and the O line has not been able to protect him consistently.
Right,
If you're able to stop Hall, stop Allen, it really puts your defense in a position to really smell that blood in the water.
right. And you got to think back to when we last played Aaron Rodgers. When was the last game time we played him? He took 4 snaps, and we pressured him probably on 3 out of 4.
Mhm.
So I feel like they will have a good game plan against them. It's just executing, man. We got so many veterans, even the young guys, like I mentioned, Solomon, Dwayne Carter, who
Dwayne
bought.
Carter balled
Yeah,
last week.
he stepped up in a major way. Even
Hmm.
saw some clips of him being amped up on the sidelines, trying to get the other guys together. Showing that he got some of that leadership in his DNA, which we already knew coming from Duke, where he was a leader over
Right.
there. But Dwayne Carter, man, if he can keep that up, because it looks like right now, as of the last practice notes I've seen, Ed Oliver did not practice as of yet. I know he's
Yeah,
still.
it's an extra practice this week playing on
Yeah.
Monday night.
So
So
we'll see how that goes. But I mean, even if he's not ready, I mean, Dwayne Carter has shown, guess what, for a game or two, I can be involved in the backfield, which is what we need to see. Because I've been saying all along, like from the D tackle standpoint, they need more. And Dwayne Carter stepped up in that category, because we're still waiting for Daquan Jones to get his groove back. We know that ever since he got hurt last year, he hasn't looked like that semi-dominant defensive tackle that he gave us for a couple seasons, or for, I should say, for a season and a half. So definitely looking for the D line to really win that matchup against that O line, just to put that extra pressure on Rodgers. And then on the flip side, like I said, the object got to be keep Josh clean. Because if they're going to run the ball, I have no issues with Ty Johnson, Ray Davis, and we'll see how James Cook is feeling on Monday. But I feel like the running backs, whoever, I mean, even if they bring up Frank Gore and Darrington Johnson, Darrington Evans, I ain't worried about the running backs. They have proven that they can get good yardage on the ground. My concern right now is that the passing game and the pass blocking for the past 2 weeks have not been up to the standard. So
mhm.
um, they need to win in the trenches. They need to give Josh time, because I don't want to see happy feet Josh. We've seen, if it happens consistently, we know his tendency is he can kind of feel it and start drifting quicker than he needs to drift to that sideline, or stepping up a little too early.
Yeah, just not trusting the pocket.
Or right, and then he start getting to the point where he got to force throws, and that can lead to, as we know, interceptions and all of those nasty things that we don't like. So definitely think that this is going to be an in the trenches type game. They're going to be inspired, so we know that they're going to come out fired up. So physicality is going to be my main thing, but I will tell you a player I'm looking forward to watching. And I don't know how much he'll be able to do with the limitations with the injury, but it's Taron Johnson. All signs right now are pointing towards him playing. So I'm really interested to see how much he will be able to do at the line of scrimmage. I know, Taron Johnson at 100% is containing the run, containing the pass. He's doing all that. He is your captain at that line, and just all around from 20 to 30 yards deep. So if there was a particular player that you would say would be the key to victory on Monday, who you got?
That's tough. That's tough. That's
I know.
tough.
Put you right on the spot.
Yeah, if I'm thinking offensively, this is a defense we're going against that we have historically had issues with.
Right.
Uh, they've had two very, very solid boundary corners for a couple years now. Tough line. I mean, you got C.J. Mosley, you got Quincy Williams. I mean, in the middle of the defense, you got Quentin Williams. So I mean, DJ Reed, like you, Sauce Gardner. Like there's some dogs on that defense, and we've historically struggled with it. I'm curious to see how much of that struggle or how much of that defensiveness came from Robert Saleh. Again, I mean, he just got fired this week, so
Right.
what he's been teaching is obviously probably still in the game plan and all that. So, you won't see a completely different style of defense 1 week after him getting canned. But long term, I'm curious to see what that does for that defense. But just getting back to the original question, I'd say that this probably needs to be a game where we see a heavy dose of Dalton Kincaid, because we know that these receivers are going to have some tough matchups if both of their corners are healthy.
Right.
And you know, the numbers against man covers has been surprisingly decent this year for
Hmm.
the receivers. However, this is a different caliber of at least one different caliber, and then Reed is also very, very solid. So I think this needs to be a game where that middle of the field gets tested, where we see Dalton Kincaid, we see Dawson Knox, if, or if we can get Shakir back, Shakir over the middle of the field. But I'll say Dalton Kincaid is someone that I really need to see step up in a major way this week.
Okay. I mean, since you went defense, I mean, since you went offense, I'll go defense, and I'll give you two players. For me, it's going to be Terrell Bernard and Christian Benford. I think that I've been waiting for obviously the signature Russell Douglas play in the secondary, but I think with Benford, um, Aaron Rodgers might test him. He can look at the stats all he wants to and see how well he's doing. But he loves his receiver, especially Garrett Wilson. And I think that there's going to be some opportunities if Benford is playing that ball tight coverage that he has been doing for him to make some plays on the ball when Aaron Rodgers is looking his way. So I think one of the keys to victory got to be Christian Benford, locking up and really just embracing the matchup that he'll have on the outside with either Mike Williams or Wilson. And then I say Terrell Bernard just because what we mentioned about 5 minutes ago is just out the front seven. He is that leader. He is the
Yeah,
he is the ultimate. What you about to talk about that play from the game?
I was just about to say, listen, I feel bad. I didn't even bring it up. That play, that interception he made last week was an
Amazing,
absolute thing of beauty, bro. The way
amazing.
he just carried that tight end receiver across the field, peeled off of him right into the lane. I said, yo,
On,
this boy's special.
on one eye, yeah. And just the thing, like again, we talk back to why we never overreact off of what guys look like early on in their career. Just the thing, just last year going into the season, we like, we really about to go with this dude? You know what I mean? Second year guy, undersized out of Baylor, like didn't look too good his rookie season. Like, okay, that's a big question mark, but and you fast forward and you look at what the coaches have done, coaching him up, and just what he's done, from a player standpoint,
Mhm.
you got to want it yourself. So it's not all coaching, but when you get the coaches to be able to get the most out of some Clay. And this guy was a guy who was always around the football in college, coming out of Baylor. I watched a little tape on him and I'm just like, one thing I can say, the dude does fly to the ball and he does have a knack for finding the football. But if you look at the trend of the linebackers the Bills have drafted over the last 5, 6 years, that is kind of like the thing that they look for. It's like, I don't care if you 215 pounds or 235, we're gonna try to get linebackers who have a knack for finding that football. And that leads me to talking about Dorian Williams too, who is now
I was
top.
about to say, yo, he is head and shoulders playing above where I thought he would this year. Like
Right. Well, most people
he's flying to the ball, being physical, making plays. In the coverage game, he's been much more solid than I expected him to be. Like I'm extremely pleased with the way Dorian Williams been playing this year.
yeah, and that's why I always tell people it's the reps. That's why I'm not closing the door on this whole Cole Bishop safety situation either, because I know he blew the one where
No, I mean, shit, he made a. It was a rookie play.
right.
He
What I
let
mean?
the receiver get right past him. It just
Exactly.
look
And you learn
miscommunication,
from
or he
that.
just
You learn from that. And that's when we know in the NFL, one of the toughest positions to play is defensive back. So that's corner and safety because you are literally backpedaling for 90% of your time out there on the field. And you are going against some guys. Some is 6'4" that run a 4.4, and some is 5'9". You know what I mean? That might slip past you. So they play a difficult position to begin with, and to expect in his first NFL start in week 5 that he was going to look like John Lynch, you're crazy. I'll tell Bills Mafia, let's continue to be patient with the safety situation, because guess what? A lot of y'all was saying that DeMar Hamlin shouldn't have even made the 53, and he still has looked pretty decent overall. I'm not saying he's out there looking like the next Troy Vincent, but he is still doing his part, his 111th back there. So let's be patient with Cole. But yeah, back to the point with Terrell Bernard though, like he has to, continue to be the best player out there in that front seven for them to really come away with a victory. And that's what I'm gonna leave it at, because whether he out there with one arm, half an arm, two arms, I know he got the body armor on him and all that shit now, but we need A+ Terrell Bernard come Monday. And I think more of the nation gonna start speaking on his name, because I know the NFL, they posted his interception and they was talking about 43 with a big play. I'm like, nah, don't say 43, say his name. That's Terrell Bernard, folks. That's Terrell
Mm-hmm.
Bernard. If you ain't been paying attention, this motherfucker can ball. So yeah, definitely want to highlight that. Probably the play of the game outside of the Keon Coleman catch and run up the field, which is one of those plays I've been calling for a minute now, is the 10-yard catch, get upfield,
And
um,
gone.
and go ahead, Keon. So good job by Kiki
Showed a
on
little speed on that play. I said, I see you, Keon.
there. Yeah, that's that game speed. You know what I mean? We always talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You got straight line 40-yard speed, and you got game speed. Because when you turn on that game speed, not too many months trying to step in front of you either. But there was some good blocks on that play too by Mack and Dawson. Um,
Yeah, shout out to Matt. He had took his man out down
yeah,
there. Good block.
both of them boys had some good blocks on that. But we're gonna speed it up because we know we want to get to our destination, which is Monday Night Football predictions, and just looking ahead to get past this so we can come back on a victorious episode, because
Mm-hmm.
these episodes after an L, I ain't gonna lie, y'all, it's rough. It's rough. It's not easy, but
Yep.
we rock it out. Um, you know, First off, stat prediction. Anybody jumping off the page that you got with a bold prediction stat wise?
Yeah. It is bold because it hasn't happened.
Oh boy.
But I'm sticking with Dalton Kincaid. Got to have 100+ yards this week. I
Ooh,
mean, when I say I need a big game from Dalton Kincaid, I need triple-digit yards this week.
that
So
sound
I'm
like
going over 100.
this is 112.
And 112.
Cupid was in
Yeah.
love.
So that's my bold prediction is Dalton Kincaid over 100.
It's gonna be tough for
Straight
me.
straight like that.
Straight like that. Okay. I think I'll do one on both sides. I'll say Josh Allen, over 2.5 touchdowns passing. So I'll say 3 touchdowns for Josh, 3+. I'll just leave it at that. So 3 or more for Josh, because I feel like he due for a bounce back. I mean, I've watched this guy now for 7 straight years, and I've never seen this guy go through 3 consecutive games where I don't care if he was throwing to Andre Holmes, where he's just not found some way to get back into a groove. So I feel like Josh,
Never had 3 consecutive losses either.
you know what I mean? So I feel like Josh, even though he's going against a very good physical defense, I feel like Josh will find the end zone 3 times. Who that ends up being, I'm putting my faith in you, Joe Brady, to figure that out. But I got 3 touchdowns for Josh. And then on the defensive side, this is a tougher one for me. But I do want to go front seven heavy on this one. So I'm trying to think who's the guy I want to pick on. I'll say Greg Rousseau. I'm gonna say Greg Rousseau has a repeat of week 1 and just has a monster 2 or more sacks in this game.
Gotcha. And I'll add my defensive one. I'm sticking with the D line too, but I'm just gonna go total sack wise. I say Bills D line, at least 4 sacks from the D line.
I like it. Sound like a victory to me. Shit, if we can get that kind of pressure, if we can make him hit that ground, because like I said, I've been saying it all along. Aaron Rodgers through 17 games, 16 games, I don't see it. because you got to take too many hits. And at 40 plus, and you got a mentality like he has where he don't really want to be touched. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're gonna transition right to your game prediction. What you
All right.
got?
Well, you know me, man. I always got to grow with the home team. So even though they won't be at home,
Oh, I'm
Bill.
looking like, hold on, you going with the Jets this week? Okay.
Nah, not gonna do that. But nah, I got this one not being easy because I know that they will be high energy. They're gonna come out hitting, trying to punch in the mouth. But that can also lead to some undisciplined stuff, some flags, things like that. So I feel like when the dust settles and when the Bills settle down, when the Jets settle down, we're gonna get to see a more precise effort from the offense. Just better play design all around. So if we get that efficient Josh and we get that efficient offense that we have seen, I got the Bills winning 20. I think they're gonna get in the 20s. So I'm gonna keep it cute at 24. So I'm gonna say I got the Bills winning 24-16. I got an 8-point win. I want to say we should be able to punch them in the mouth and blow them out. But like I said, I just think the first half might cause for us to just kind of, maybe 10-10 at the half, maybe 7-10 at the half. But I think when it's all said and done, we're gonna see the Bills take care of business in that second half. And we get to see Josh Allen, kind of put together a master class to get them out of there and get us back to Buffalo. So I got 24-16 Buffalo, man. What you got?
Um, this one is a little weird for me. Uh, normally when you fire head coach midseason, you normally get a little bit of a bump for a week or two. You know,
Right.
new voice in the room, new excitement. Players want to rally for their new coach and this and that. You
Factual.
normally get a little bit of bump. I don't know if we get that from this one though. I feel like the firing just felt off.
Right.
You know, GM not involved, no communication with the front staff about. I mean, your front office staff about this. It's just the owner firing the head coach. No real chain of command. I mean, granted, you're the owner, you do what you want, but
That's a fact.
you're not letting the GM be the GM. Rumors that Salah wanted to fire Hackett, and so he got fired instead. Like this feels like could be something like this is the straw that broke the camel's back. Um, so I'm not sure if this Jets team if this going to be a rallying point or if this is going to be the point where it's like, all right, this ship is sinking.
Right.
So I kind of got a feeling they're gonna come out with some bark. But if they get punched in the face early, I got a feeling this is a game that can go downhill for them real quick. Um, so it's kind of that's what I'm saying. It's a little bit hard for me to say because I feel like this should be more of a lower scoring game.
Right.
But I just don't know how this Jet team is going to come out.
Yeah,
So
man.
if I had to be a betting man,
Uh-uh.
I I think I would lean more towards this being a crumbling point than a rallying point.
Okay.
Um, I see this being a game where if the Bills can come out early and actually score, I think this can be one that can get ugly. Um, so I'm actually going to bet ugly. I think this would be one where they can jump out to an early lead and then just coast the rest of the way. So I got this being a 31-16 game for the Bills.
116. I like it. I mean, we both got them scoring 16 points, so we'll see if that's the lucky number this week. I do feel like kind of like you said, I feel like there's gonna be some spark maybe early, but if the Bills can weather that storm and just kind of stay in it, like
Yeah, just ride the wave early.
don't be trying to go down 10 points. You know what I mean? 14 points.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, don't play into the hand. 'Cause, like
Yeah,
again, right now we not built like that to be coming from behind like that
definitely
on the
not.
regular. Like
We're not.
we don't have the horses.
Point blank.
Not this year.
We're not. And with the injuries, it too. No, don't even play that
Mhm.
game. Just stay in it, like you said. Ride that early wave if there's an early wave of emotions, and we should be good. But like you said, man, it could come down to them crumbling. I would love to hear the Jets fans booing. Turning on Aaron Rodgers, that would be hilarious TV.
Quick.
So definitely looking forward to that. Outside of that, man, any surprises around the league? Because we don't got to go into no bold predictions around the league, but What's your surprise, man? Five weeks in the season, man. Who has caught your eye as like the biggest surprise?
It's
What you say?
it's got to be Minnesota still, man. I mean, 5-0, it's balling out, taking care of. I mean, they pound for pound, they probably are playing the best football that I've seen. I mean,
Yeah,
Kansas City is 5-0 also. I mean, they finding ways to win, but
find
it's
ways to win. Yep.
they finding ways to win. So credit to them for that. But they're not playing football where you're like, oh yeah, this is the best team in the league for
Right.
sure. They getting by, and
Yeah.
all you got to do is win. So that shit counts.
Right.
But for me, I think it's Minnesota, and I'll say this Washington. I mean,
Yeah.
Jaden
That's what
Daniels
I was
got
going to
that
say.
team clicking. I mean,
That's what I was
he's
going to get.
playing some of the best ball that we've seen a rookie ever come in and do.
Yeah.
So those
Yeah.
are my two surprises. Washington don't fuck around and win that damn division.
Right. And I think that's the to me that's the funny part. Like I know Philadelphia been dealing with some injuries at wide receiver, but I'm looking at Washington and I'm saying if Jaden Daniels, I know he got a big game this week against Baltimore, the battle of the DMV. I mean that's gonna be funny to not funny to watch, but that's gonna be fun to watch. I should say Lamar versus Jaden. But um if he can keep it up, he might be Cam
Mhm.
Newton for like the best rookie season of a quarterback in the last 25 years. Just
Mhm.
because nobody predicted him taking his team and just riding him on the back and just being a playoff contender. Like I don't care what nobody said. Nobody had that as a bold prediction. There was none of that. And I know the same can be said with Minnesota. You know, they drafted JJ McCarthy, had Sam Darnold. Nobody thought Sam Darnold was going to lead them to being 5-0. So I think really both of those situations gotta be probably the most eye popping. I'll also say a surprise record wise of seeing Cincinnati start off 1-4. But funny part about that is Joe Burrow is still essentially playing good football. I think I saw a stat saying he had 12 touchdowns, 2 picks. So um,
Carver them boys up last week.
yeah,
I feel bad for that L. I'm like,
yeah.
dang.
That's one of those L's. I mean, shit, we talk about Bills fans feeling like punched in the chest. I mean, how you think Cincinnati fans feel? Like you in a tough division. And I'm not saying tough division like Cleveland and Pittsburgh are like juggernauts, but we all know they play each other well. So
Mhm.
you in that division and you already got 4 losses before we get to mid-October. You playing with fire, dog. You playing with fire. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Cincinnati bounce back. I think they got a good chance of winning this week against the Giants. I believe they playing. So definitely I agree with you. Washington, Minnesota, top storylines. I'll go on my quick basketball point real quick. Feels good to see my Knicks looking nice. It's preseason,
Mhm.
but the guy with the nickname Bodega Cat is out there hooping. Just dropped. We recording on Bodega Cat. My man just had a double double, 20 plus, 10 plus boards. Jalen looked like Jalen. Mikel, OG wing stopping it out. You know what I mean? So shout out to my fellow Knicks fans out there. It's looking good. Like I said, it's only preseason. Shout out to LeBron getting on the court with his son, Bronny. Even though that was a moment that he tried to chase, tried to get the still picture, you know what I mean, and the highlight reel I saw, but it's still dope. I don't care if you love LeBron or not. That father son moment and the moments that they will have playing together, it's something special. Like we can
Can't
joke
beat
about
that,
it.
man. That's amazing.
Yeah, we could joke about it because I mean, shit, everything is a joke nowadays. But like real talk from a father standpoint, from a black man standpoint, to see that guy do what he's been able to do and just kind of be a big role model for people in our community, from just being a great father figure and obviously athlete and inspirational guy, from coming from a single mother, coming from poverty essentially to making it to where he's at, making millions, billions of dollars. Like man, shout out to LeBron. Like I said, man, great athlete, but seems to be even a better father. So shout out to him for being able to have that moment since we last recorded. Because I feel like that's dope. Point blank period. But Bills Mafia. We tried to get y'all through here, man. We kept it under an hour for a reason. We understand that there's a lot going on this weekend and the Bills don't play on Sunday. So for the next few days, man, enjoy a stress-free Sunday. But obviously, get ready for Monday night. Obviously, it's no home game, so that means we can watch it from the sectional, from the recliner, from the bed. Shucks, maybe you just
Yes,
record it
sir.
Tuesday. Yeah, I know that's impossible, but um, enjoy the weekend. Be safe. Prayers out to all of those in Florida. Definitely don't want to leave off that because we know that they are dealing with hurricane season, back-to-back hurricanes. Obviously, the one that they're dealing with now, Milton, Shilton, whatever his name is, shit looking crazy out there. 100 plus mile per hour wind, 100 plus tornado watches, up to 12, 15 feet of water and all that. Listen, I can't imagine. We talk about the snow all the time here in Buffalo, but prayers to those who I know out there in that Florida area, and prayers to any of you guys, listeners, who may be out there as well. So just want to leave with that. And like I said, it's Pink October. So make sure you put your best pink on this month and celebrate um, those who have survived. And even the ones who may have not survived, man, would definitely want to think about those people. So, any last words from you, Z-Man?
Let's go take care of business on Monday. That's it. Go Sabres. Home
Go,
opener tomorrow.
go Sabres. Go
I'll
Sabres.
be in the building.
Uh-oh.
You know, setting the season off right. You know, we took two L's over in Europe over the weekend to get the season
Preach.
started. But we'll bounce back.
Got
So
you.
we
Got
good
you.
out here. But let the Bills go take care of business. Get this losing streak over. Go get their swagger back.
Get that swagger back.
Go get the 2-game lead on the division and
Yep. Play another conference game after that in Tennessee, and
get back at it. But as always, man, we appreciate y'all rocking with us for another week.
yep.
So, like we continue to say, like, share, subscribe, comment, tell
Yes,
a friend to tell a friend. Just come kick it with us for another week. But we appreciate y'all rocking with us, whether we got 500, man. We're gonna bring y'all the same energy,
yep.
same us every time. So we just thankful to have a platform where we can just chop it up and talk a little bit of football. So we appreciate y'all rocking with us.
Yes, sir. And like you said, as always, tell a friend to tell a friend. Reach out. Let us know if you ever want to join us on a show. I know we don't do as many in person as we used to, but guess what? Y'all know how it is. We some busy motherfuckers, but never too busy to have people join us. So let us know, man. Reach out to us through DM. If you got our phone number, obviously you can text us. But comment, share, and as always, go Bills. And guess what, man? We'll see y'all after a victory in New Jersey. All right. So let's enjoy a stress-free Sunday. Prepare for Monday Night Football. We're gonna get back in that willing column. All right, guys. So see y'all. Enjoy. And like we said, go Bills, baby.
Go
Go
Bills.
Bills. Bing bing.